Yeah, this is Paul. Yeah, yeah, I'm just sitting here, uh, waiting on the street. It's raining last night. Yeah, and I'm going to lunch about noon, but I've had some difficulty. Yeah, I looked this morning to see if I got any emails about where are my missing sons. And it's Father's Day, and I know there are probably a lot of fathers that are elected or appointed to office, or those that are sheriffs or police officers. Those that are judges and justices, they're probably celebrating with their families today, being a father or having a father. But I decided to open this dictionary, and there was in this amendment number 14. The section 1, all persons or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the laws wherein they reside. I don't know if you can see that, wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, or deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws. As a father, I'd went through. I probably made 8 or 10 videos last night that I'd emailed and put on YouTube and Facebook about how you actually have to give notice and opportunity to the respondent before you can issue a protection order. Now it says, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens. Now, let's say you made a law that you don't have to do what the Constitution says. Now, I don't know if the Child Abuse Act that was quoted in the state's response, that I received a protection order, and I received it in the public library, and it didn't have the signature of the petitioner, and I wasn't given actual notice before there was a court hearing. But I wondered, just because a commissioner signs a court order, is it possible that the state of Washington has made some laws that I'm not aware of, that no one's aware of? Now, I know you're sitting there at home, you're enjoying your time with your children or your grandchildren. I'm sitting here asking myself, why is it that you're enforcing crime? Now, I know it's a Sunday, it's Father's Day, and I have 5 sons, and when you enforce the crime of violating the rights of American citizens, it must be that Clallam County has some sort of different legal system than the rest of the nation. I've looked through a lot of the laws. I don't see any federal law or statute that gives you the right to violate the civil rights of American citizens. I don't see it in any law. Now, we can go through every law again, okay? And we can ask ourselves, what are you doing? Now, when I inform law enforcement that the Violence Against Women's Act protects the respondent's right to due process, and I inform them hundreds of times, and then I actually tell them, Washington state law requires proper and timely notice before there can be a court hearing. You have to have a process server before there's a court hearing. Yes. You have to have proof of service before there's a court hearing. Yes. And it has to be served within the legal number of judicial days. Now, probably a little later on this afternoon, I'll go through some more documents in the chronological order that I started with yesterday. And in my mind, okay, the way that I think about things, I'm almost assured billions of more dollars in lawsuits. Now, what you should have done was emailed me the contact information for my sons and Marilyn and her kids. I could have emailed them this morning. I could have got their phone number. We could have been together right now. But instead, there's somebody in the United States that decided they're just not going to enforce the laws of the United States. Now, has somebody been making laws that are not laws that do not? Now, this amendment number 14, that's kind of a big one. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And when you really read it, okay, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States. Okay. Did you know that I have what's known as privileges and immunities? Yes. If any state of the United States or the federal government was to make a law that had in some way abridged what I have as a citizen, privileges or immunities, and I think last 250 years, they probably had looked at this before. They probably have defined, well, what are the privileges and what are the immunities for American citizens? Yeah. Now, my thought is, okay, an immunity would be you can't enforce a law where there is no due process. Yeah. Now, I don't really know what law enforcement's doing today. I mean, I would have thought I would be with my sons. I thought I did a pretty good job last night. But it seems to me that somebody's still enforcing the crime of violating my rights, my family's rights. Now, I'm going to make a few videos, okay? Someone's going to lose everything they own, and they're going to end up in prison for the rest of their lives, okay? Because as I have explained, I want the law enforced.